Come closer to the fire. The wind is sharp tonight, and a story like this one is best told warm. Many of you have seen an old film called The Karate Kid. Some of you grew up calling it Best Kid. You remember Mr. Miyagi, the quiet old man who teaches a lonely, bullied boy how to wax a car, how to paint a fence, and somewhere in between, how to stand tall in the world. There is a moment in that film, easy to miss, when we learn the old man's secret sorrow. He once fought for America in the Second World War and earned a medal for his courage. And while he was away fighting, his wife died in an American camp, a camp built for people like him, people of Japanese blood. Mr. Miyagi is not real. He was written for a film. But tonight, I want to tell you something it took me many years to understand. Mr. Miyagi was invented, but men like him were not. They were real. And their true story is greater than anything a film could hold. Let us go back to the year 1941. America has entered the war, and fear has spread across the land. Because the attack came from Japan, more than 100,000 Japanese Americans, grandfathers, mothers, small children, most of them born on American soil, are taken from their homes and placed behind barbed wire. They had done nothing wrong. Their only crime was their face. And now, listen closely, for here is the part that is hard to believe. From inside those very camps, young men stepped forward and asked to fight, not against America, for the country that had locked away their own families. They formed a regiment, and they gave it a simple motto: go for broke. It meant hold nothing back, risk everything. They were sent to the hardest places, again and again. And in October of 1944, in the cold mountains of eastern France, they were given their hardest task of all. A battalion of American soldiers from Texas had pushed too far ahead and become trapped, surrounded by 6,000 German troops, deep in the forest, with no food, no water, and little hope. Twice other soldiers tried to reach them. Twice they failed. It is said that Hitler himself had ordered that these men must never be rescued, whatever the cost. So they called for the Japanese American regiment. These men were already exhausted. They had been fighting for days without rest, and still they went, climbing through freezing mud and hidden mines, fighting for every single yard of ground, tree by tree, in the dark of that forest. The cost was terrible. One of their companies went into that battle with 185 men. When it was over, only 8 walked out unharmed. In the end, 800 of them fell to rescue 211. But it is not the numbers I want you to remember. It is 2 small moments. The first, when at last one of them broke through the German line and reached the starving, frozen men who had waited so long to be saved. He did not make a speech. He simply reached into his coat, held out a cigarette, and asked one quiet word: cigarette? The second came after the battle. A general looked at the small group of survivors, standing before him in the snow, and he grew angry. Where, he demanded, was the rest of the regiment? Why had they not all come to stand at attention? An officer answered him softly. Sir, this is the regiment. That handful of men in the cold was all that remained. When the war was finally over, the President of the United States stood before these soldiers and told them the truth of what they had done. They had fought 2 enemies, he said, the enemy across the sea and prejudice here at home. And against both, they had won. And years later, the state of Texas, the home of the very men they had saved, made every soldier of that regiment an honorary son of Texas. The rescued had claimed the rescuers as their own. Here is the thing I carry with me, by this fire, on cold nights like this one. These men had every reason in the world to grow bitter. Their country had wronged them deeply, had shut their mothers and fathers behind wire. And when that same country cried out for help, they did not answer with hatred. They answered with their lives. The ones who had been given the least chose to give the most. That is the heart of it. To be wronged and still to open your hand. To receive coldness and still to offer warmth. The old man by the fire, teaching a lonely boy to stand tall. He was only a story, but the men he was made from truly lived. And if an old man like me may hope, for one thing, it is this, that I might pass on even a little of what they showed us, that you might too sleep well tonight and be gentle with one another. I will see you next time, here by the fire.